First of all, Papa Smurf didn't create Smurfette. Gargamel did. She was sent in as Gargamel's evil spy with the intention of destroying the Smurf village, but the overwhelming goodness of the Smurf way of life transformed her. As for the whole gangbang scenario, it just couldn't happen. Smurfs are
Nick,
asexual.
Listen, I hate to interrupt, but welcome to Hate to Interrupt, episode 41. I am Ethan from youtube.com/Gulif, and welcome to Hate to Interrupt. I am joined by
Nick from Stop Culture.
VHS guy, Nick.
Yeah, and we have a special guest today. Kirsty, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I was like, do I jump in? Kirsty or MertKayKay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Kirsty, she recommended Donnie Darko for us to talk about today, which is a movie that is very near and dear to my heart. It's like one of my. I was talking to you a little bit before we started recording, but it's probably like the first indie movie that I ever fell in love with. So I'm really excited to be able to talk about it today. But before that, we're gonna do a little interview segment. But I should mention just before we get into that, it's just kind of crazy, like because Kirsty's in the UK right now, and we had a mix up yesterday with the time zones. We're like all 8 to 12 hours behind each other or whatever.
That was entirely my fault.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. for me right now. I don't know. Ethan just woke up from a nap. Nick is also napping. So I'm sorry.
I think I look sleepier than I am.
If we're low energy Jeb today, that might be why. But how are you guys feeling? Is everyone doing okay? Are you doing good?
I feel great.
Nice.
Yeah. I was planning to get up. I had my alarm set for like 15 minutes before the pod to get in here, check sound. Don't know why. My alarm clock just did not want to go off.
It is what it is.
That's all right. We're here now.
Yeah, so basically, we're just gonna ask a couple questions, and we'll get into Donnie Darko. But so Kirsty, like from what I can tell, it seems like you started your channel primarily covering games, but eventually you started to integrate into film and TV into the mix of your scope of interest for your channel. And the three of us are YouTubers also, and on the podcast, like a lot of YouTube-esque conversations get brought up. And one thing that we talk about a lot is niche and how it can be kind of restrictive for content creators. I think we've all felt the pull of that to one degree or another. So like when you were kind of making that switch and expanding the scope of what you were doing on YouTube, was that a worry for you? Was that a concern, or was there like a culture shock for your fans who were expecting gaming stuff and you started doing film and TV, or how did you feel about that when you did it?
I think the first film I covered was Silence of the Lambs. And I can't remember how big the channel was by then, but yeah, it's definitely, I think niche is always a worry, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm really trying to rack my brain. I don't remember anybody being confused. I remember a few people being pleasantly surprised. But yeah, niche is always a worry. I did a slightly different gaming video a few months to a year ago and was terrified about how that was going to play. So yeah, definitely. I don't remember, but definitely.
What do you mean slightly, like a different type of game that you wouldn't usually cover?
It was more like like a documentary style run through Elden Ring. So it was like my exact experience, and we did this, and this was the goal, and it included lots of clips from the stream to see if we could get the 100% in like 2 days or something. And yeah, that didn't play like massively well. I think it was like the biggest underperformer on my channel, but I think sometimes you just have to try, don't you?
Yeah. What is I'm curious, because this is something that I think we all have channels that are significantly smaller than yours, but like, what does an underperformer look like to you? Like, what's a view count that you'll get and be like, oh fuck, that was bad. Like, what's that number?
When it shows you your last 10 uploads.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think anyone that hits the 10 spot and gets that little grey check mark is enough to have me kind of like having to step away for a while. And I don't know, because who cares at the end of the day? If you get like 3,000 views on something, then that's crazy when you think about it. 3,000 people coming to watch something, but YouTube is like, oh, that's not good. And then it makes you
can be
like
brutal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some days we'll like. I mean, because it's just hard when, like you'll spend, especially if it's like a passion project of your own, like working on it for a month or two, maybe 3, and then you throw it out, and especially if it's like under 1K for a while, you're just like, I'm never doing YouTube again. I'm done, man. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
It's hard.
I think I've just lived in perpetual disappointment on YouTube.
No, I think that 1 to 10 thing that you're talking about is like it's a fucking sadistic feature to put on there.
Brutal.
Because it's like what does it doesn't actually do anything for you other than to compare yourself to your own past successes or failures, and it's just like it never really feels
good
good
whenever one's riding to the top, though. I don't know.
It does feel good in that case, but it's like I don't know.
But
it
it's
almost
gambling,
never feels that way.
with your feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think they even changed the because when you get say a video gets 10th place out of the last 10, you get the gray arrow. I think a few years before that, it was like they had it bright red, so I'm sure it felt worse psychologically. Beforehand,
that's rough.
they're like, "This will be easy. We'll make it gray."
It was a bright red arrow. That's fucked up.
I think so. It was like, "This is bad. You did a bad thing."
Jesus.
So the reason I initially made that Discord that we all kind of met through is because we were trying to or I at least was trying to avoid gaming YouTube channels just because there were so many of them, right? And it was hard to have a discussion with people that were kind of doing similar things to me, right? But since that is the case, there are so many gaming channels. How do you kind of try to stand out from other people?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, well, I do have a gaming channel that doesn't stand out and consequently doesn't do brilliantly. But my main channel, I would say my earlier videos definitely had my more hot takes. And as the channel's gotten bigger, I've been able to settle into stuff that's gotten me less wishes to kill myself. Yeah. So, because the thing is, you don't want to do the clickbait game, do you? But you post a video and you don't use clickbait and it doesn't get clicks. So you change the thumbnail and the title to make it more clickbait, and then you get some clicks, and you're like, well, I hate titles that are like, this game made me cry, and then I'll post something and I'm like, Visage, a retrospective, and it doesn't get any views. So I change it to, this game made me cry, and it gets loads of views. So it's very hypocritical of me, but it also really annoys me. So I'd say that's probably the main thing, just bullshit. But also, once you have to have the clickbait kind of follow through to something, and when they're baited to click it, actually have something to watch that isn't I don't know, too derivative or
or just doesn't follow through on what you sort of promise in the title.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be within the shot somewhere. I
think the thing that the viewers hate most is false advertising with the thumbnails. To be like, you didn't cry. Why didn't you cry? If the game made you cry, you should cry in the video.
Yeah.
Well, I was also thinking I'm sure the pressure's even worse, to cover trendier games or whatnot. But it's also hard in, I think, the with gaming, because you always see it with a lot of publications where you're trying to get through a game, and playing through a game and getting the entire experience versus watching a movie that's just come out is such a big time sink.
Mm-hmm.
Where you'll see so many people that make review games and make art around that, and they're just like, listen, I did this, I tried to finish over the last 20 hours, last full week, and played nothing but that. Here's my review. That's brutal to me. Movie is 2 hours max, 2.5 hours, and then you maybe watch it one more time. But that's such a huge time sink.
Yeah, you can whack a movie review together in 3 days, can't you? But books take 100 hours, and I think games take 50.
I mean, it seems like almost all of your videos are over an hour long, right? You tend to specialize. Videos. Yeah, you tend to specialize in long run times, right?
Yeah, I try not to, if you can believe it. But
why do you think you gravitate towards the longer run times? Do you think it's just?
I think I'm just an Olympic yapper. Yeah.
I think it was.
Oh, sorry, go.
No, you're good. I just love that in your thumbnail for the desperate deconstruction of Stephen King's It. You're just like, hey, let's waste 3 hours, and it's
Yeah. I have a proofreader, and I'm like, please go through this and just take out anything that is redundant or an inefficient use of time. And he does, and then it's still long. So I think I still keep them efficient, but they definitely go on a long time. So
yeah. But so sort of piggybacking off of Nick's question about the gaming niche more broadly. So at least my perception of the gaming niche, it's like it's notorious for his like rapid take let's plays and kind of hyperbolic commentary. But your content, from what I can tell, just like watching over the past couple of weeks, is literally the polar opposite of that. It's like very thoughtful, measured, and requires active listening, you know, for someone to really get into it. So with that being said, do you feel like you faced sort of an uphill battle, like trying to break into this niche at all, or what was that process like for you?
Oh yeah, I think the first 2 years on my channel, I think it took 2 years to hit 100 subscribers on my channel, and I was posting pretty frequently for an essay channel, maybe like every 2 or 3 weeks. My Walking Dead video, I don't know if you saw that one. It's a really early one. I think that hit 15 views and then sat at 15 views for 2 years. All it takes is one. So yeah, it was just you have to make it because you love it. I think you guys know you have to make it because you love it, and then eventually people might find it, and all the work you've put in will reach fruition. But yeah, I had an audience of I don't know, my mum for like 2 years.
So how long you've been doing this altogether then?
I don't know. I think I started around COVID.
Yeah, like 4 years ago is what your oldest video is.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good though. So 100 subscribers for the first 2 years, and then that leaves only 3 years since, and now you're at what, like 130K or something?
Yeah.
So you must have like grown pretty
exponentially.
Yeah, you must have grown pretty exponentially in like the last 3 years. It's been going up pretty steadily, I guess.
Oh, it blew up with Suicide of Rachel Foster. I think that was like 30K in a week, and then after that, it was like 1,000 a month-ish. I've not had, like, I've seen a few bigger channels like Wendigoon and stuff. There was a point where his channel just kind of, like, you kind of think he couldn't get any bigger, and then all of a sudden it's like, and all of a sudden he's like something like 5 mil. I don't know, but people talk about, you reach a point where there's exponential growth, but I haven't. And I don't know if that's a real thing.
Yeah, people always say that like YouTube growth is exponential, not linear. But I don't know. I guess it's different for everyone. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think your rate of growth, it definitely increases over time. I think part of that is that, I mean, I would be curious to see what you guys think of this, but I think just the average viewer on YouTube is more likely to subscribe to someone if they already have like over 100,000 subscribers. You know, they're like, oh, something's going on here. I might as well just also hop on the bandwagon. You know what I mean? Whereas if it's like a channel that's under 10K, even if they like it, they might be like, I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out. When they're famous, I'll check it out. You know,
I don't think the average person notices that as much as we do. I think a lot of it just comes down to whether it seems like a higher quality production or not. Like whether it seems like this person has been doing it for a while or not.
I think there is like sort of a social. It's a social phenomenon that goes on to it too. Like people want to be on the winning team. You know.
But also back like whenever I like just watched YouTube a lot when I was a lot younger, like I was always so excited when I found a smaller channel that I could share with everybody that everybody didn't already know about, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's almost like cooler, at least in my opinion, to find one of those channels that has less people that makes really good content so you can be like, I found this person, you know?
Yeah. Those are my favorite comments to get, where it's like, wow, I watched this and I thought you had 500,000 subscribers. You have 7,000. That's so cool. You know, those are nice comments to get.
Yeah, 7,000 is still pretty crazy in the grand scheme of everything.
Yeah, sometimes when if I get a video that gets close to like 90 or 100K, I'll remember like more people watched this than went to Bonnaroo this year, which is pretty cool. Because if you go to
Yeah.
Bonnaroo, it's like hell on earth. There's so many people there, and that's usually like 90,000 people who go to there. So I try to remember that and keep it in mind. Like,
Yeah,
that's
what
pretty
is
cool.
Bonnaroo?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it a festival?
Yeah, Bonnaroo is a music festival in America.
Oh, okay.
It's sorry.
No, I'm here. I don't even know what that is.
Well, what would you would know Coachella, right?
Yeah, that's a thing I know.
Yeah, that's closer to you. Bonnaroo's in Tennessee. It's extremely fucking hot. If you wake up in your tent because everyone's camping and it's like 100 and it literally gets like 130 degrees in the tents in the morning. It is pretty hellish.
Damn.
But
That sounds so fun. I'd love to do that.
yeah, it's rough. But yeah. So one of the IPs that, you know, going through your channel, one of the IPs that you return to most frequently, at least lately, is 13 Reasons Why. So like I've never seen that. I know like sort of like the basics of the controversy around it, and it was, you know, controversial for sort of romanticizing suicide among teens and everything. But for those of us, you know, for us and people who are listening, like who don't know much about the show, why do you find that such a fertile topic for your video essays?
Oh, good question. I guess it's a show that everybody loved to hate when it came out. And I watched it when it came out, so I saw it in the original form it came, where it included the scenes of the self-harm. And I remember being really affected by it because I feel like everybody can relate to Hannah in some way. I feel like nobody had an easy ride through school. So there's a lot there that I think the best things to look at are the ones that could have really worked but didn't. Like, have any of you played Silent Hill Homecoming?
No.
Ethan, you played that,
No.
right?
No, I haven't played any Silent Hills.
Duh.
Really? I thought you were a big
Unfortunately.
silent. Wait, which
I'm a
one you like?
Resident Evil guy.
Oh, Resident Evil.
Oh
okay.
yeah, it's one or the other always, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to play Silent Hill, but not yet.
Okay. Well, Homecoming was panned. It was considered to be
Is
the
it-
worst one, but it had some of the best ideas, I think. And I just feel like those are the best kinds of things to look at. The ones where you can see stuff they did really well, and then you can see stuff they did really badly. So you're kind of able to make a video that isn't a complete, like, downer, shitting on something that somebody loves. But you can give credit where credit's due, and it kind of... I think those are the ones that increase your palate a bit more, if that makes sense. Yeah, it gives you a better appreciation.
Because basically, the only thing that I really know about that show is I guess it came out in around 2017, and the whole discourse around it was just that it's romanticizing suicide. It's like a actively dangerous show, is what I remember people talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, did
because
you,
it was
did you feel
also-
that way when you first watched it, that it was like dangerous in that way, or?
I remember at the time a bunch of news articles coming out about teenagers who killed themselves and left tapes. So really what it did for enough people, I mean, it wasn't thousands of people, but it gave some people blueprints and ideas. And I just think if you give 5 kids the idea to do that, you've probably not done the best job.
Yeah.
But no, it's basically a girl kills herself at the start, and then you see throughout the entire series everybody who ever did anything wrong to her having to face that and being punished for that and being sorry for that. So I was like, you've kind of created this universe where this girl kills herself and then gets to watch as everybody who's ever wronged her has to talk about how much they actually loved her and stuff. And I just think you create this preconception that if you kill yourself, you get everything you want, realistically.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a pretty bad idea to put in a lot of struggling teens' minds.
But
Yeah.
but I don't know if I like the premise of it shouldn't have been made. I mean, I feel like if somebody, like, I don't know, I feel like there's not much that I think shouldn't be made unless it's like just kind of, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's things we watched on the podcast that I'm like, I hate every second of this, and maybe this shouldn't have been made. But like usually that's like the cuties of the world and things like that. Like that stuff, maybe it shouldn't get made. But I think, I don't know. I think I don't have a problem with it. If people are gonna like follow, I feel like if those people were gonna watch a show and kill themselves, they're probably gonna kill themselves anyways.
Well, that's
think-
actually not true though, because there's a study done by this on the NIH did a study in 2017 that found a 29% increase in teen suicides the year
a
after
huge
the show was
percentage.
made. I mean, I don't know if that's correlation causation thing. I don't necessarily know, but the NIH seems to attribute it mostly to this show. That was they set out to like figure out if this show was increasing suicides, and that was their number. So that's pretty
Yeah.
fucked up. That's very bad, you know.
I don't think it's something you shouldn't talk about, but I think it's kind of showing that the later seasons, from what I've heard, take out the grotesque scenes and they replace that, and they actually put in like warning cards and like phone numbers, which they apparently didn't have in early seasons, where it was like, hey, call this number if you're struggling with things. They didn't have that. They just kind of put this really heavy topic and story in front of people and directed it at teens, which is a very misguided.
Maybe the
goal
marketing
to
is
do.
more the problem than.
Yeah, that's just a little. Could have been handled with a guided hand, and it wasn't.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you know, the way Chrissy was talking about it, like the fact that she gets to watch as all of the people that wronged her throughout her life sort of grovel and be like, no, you know, she was actually, we didn't know what we had till it was gone, like that kind of thing. That for people, for especially teens, impressionable teens that are already prone to depression and that kind of thinking. I mean, I think adults even get caught in that thinking. Like, you know, I don't think there's a person alive who hasn't like thought about what their funeral would be like what people would say or whatever. Basically, making a teen version of a dramatization of that is a kind of, it's, you know, it's a tricky idea, and clearly it did kind of have some real world impacts, you know. So I'm not saying that it shouldn't have been made. I don't even know if that's the argument from anyone that I've read about this show, but I think there needs to be a little bit more care. And you know, if Ethan's saying that they eventually did start to take that care towards the end of the show's run, I think that's, you know, a positive step, you know.
Just at least they did it rather than not doing it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got two things. First of all, they advertise a website before the show starts. Every episode, they're like, if you need any support, go to 13reasonswhy.org or something, or .com. But if you follow that link, nowadays there's a few PDFs on depression, and then it's all adverts for other Netflix shows. It's just adverts and adverts for Netflix shows. It's just a big advert. And the other thing is that I forgot the other thing. It's too hot and it's the morning. Wait, give me 1 second.
If you're struggling with mental health, make sure you subscribe to Netflix Premium and check out Stranger Things Season 5. It'll really cheer you up.
Are you mentally stuck in the upside down? Is Vecna trying to make you commit suicide?
Vecna's making you feel depressed.
Check out
it
this
wasn't
PDF.
even the good shows. It was the ones that are like Netflix original, and they're all always called things like The Other Girl. I don't know.
Like they're like D tier stuff.
Yeah. And the other thing I remembered was, I guess it's kind of like Cuties, where you can agree with the message, but not the way they've done it. You know, pageants are bad. Child exploitation is bad. That's obvious. Exploiting children to show that message is, I mean,
also bad.
Yeah. Are there weird? Are there even words for that? You know.
Yeah.
So this one's for all of you guys actually, but you know, Kirsty, you can handle it first. Just sort of, you know, piggybacking off of the 13 reasons why question. So yeah, like, you know, the discourse surrounding that show, you know, we've been talking about it. It's there's a growing concern of this dramatization of suicide sparking an actual spike in real world suicides. Like I said, there was that NIH study said there was a 30% increase, which is obviously very bad. But on the flip side of that, countless studies have been done over the past 30 years trying to track whether violence in video games actually causes kids in particular to be more violent. And, you know, there's been a lot of studies on this, and there's never really been a concrete link found. So I'm wondering, why do you guys think that is? Like, why could a show like this actually have real world consequences where kids can seemingly play Call of Duty or GTA or whatever the fuck, and that doesn't make them more violent? Like, where do you think that disconnect come from?
I don't think there's any kind of like emotional like tie-in with like just violence in video games. I don't think it's triggering actual anger or aggression in any way, shape, or form. I think if you're depressed and you're watching depressing shit, it's going to make you feel more depressed. You know?
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see that.
Yeah, I think also it's a lot of it's just kind of like a release, like a disconnect. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna, burn a half an hour and just go shoot some guys in Call of Duty. But you're not like they always pitch it like the like evangelicals that do the whole video games are creating mass shootings and all that. They're always like, this game is teaching you to murder people and human life is worth less and it's a sin, whatever, blah blah blah. And it's just like, nah, dude, I just wanted to shoot a guy. I'm good. I just want to play a little.
Yeah. It's kind of more just like a tag and you're out mechanic, isn't it? It's not about actually taking lives. It's about getting people off the board.
Yeah.
But
in GTA, I think it is about just killing as many people as you can, right? Like that's kind
I
of
love
the point.
GTA. So
Like you're just killing civilians. I mean, that's what. Anytime
It
I get
depends- I
my
mean-
hands on a controller to play GTA, I'm just running on the sidewalk. Just
you're
murdering
not
people.
following the traffic rules. You're not like stopping at the red lights.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like GTA is like you. It kind of all depends on the person who's playing it, because I don't really just run around murdering civilians when I play.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah.
You're a moral GTA player.
Yeah, is anyone here ever played GTA where they just like obey traffic laws?
That's like
Every
the
now and
Bo
again.
Burnham song. Did you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a
I can't
treat.
do all that, but I do just try to beat the story.
Ah,
I mean, also like being violent in GTA where you're like, I'm gonna go run over a street load of people. You're doing it because you were like, this is a video game. I just want to see what'll happen if I do that. You know, you're
Yeah.
not like, oh, now I have to try in real life to see what happens.
yeah. And what happens is you get a 3-star wanted level, and it takes
Yeah,
like 50
exactly.
minutes to get rid of it, and then you don't do it
Cops
again.
teleport in front
Yeah.
of you.
Pain
It's
in
like
the
this
arse.
is really annoying.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, but
So the game
Nick,
does punish you.
You were saying before that if you're depressed, you're going to be watching depressing stuff. What if I change the parameters of the question slightly? Like, imagine there's a video game that is inherently depressing. It's not like 13 Reasons Why, the video game, or something like that. But the narrative of the game is depressing. It's it's a very serious story, and you have to kill people in the game as like part of the storyline of your character. Do you think does that kind of like change your answer at all?
I guess it depends. I'm sure if somebody tried hard enough, they could make a video game that's like damaging for children's psyche, but like I feel like that's not the goal of most video games, you know?
What is the goal of most video games, you think?
To be fun, I would
I
assume.
mean, I'd say most to be fun, but you can just like any piece of art, it's just to make you feel something. I think majority of games that sell are designed to be fun, and that is the main gameplay loop. But I think especially when you get into the indie sphere, it's to make you think or feel something.
There was that game. What was it called? I think it was called like Hatred or something.
Oh yeah, the mass shooter game.
Yeah, they literally made a game that was like you're a mass shooter and you go in and like mow down people in churches and shit. And like that game got shit on so hard.
Yeah,
that one's also banned in a lot of countries, I think.
Yeah.
Like I think Australia it's banned.
So
I just don't think that like that angle is something that happens a lot in video games, you know?
So in that game, the main character is literally like a school shooter or something?
Yeah, he literally looks like Lobo from like Jason
He's
Momoa.
dressed like he's in like Metalocalypse and he's just running around murdering people.
That's crazy.
yeah.
I've never heard
Yeah,
that.
I think
But like the closest I think a video game's ever made me feel is like kind of dirty, like just mowing people down is like literally like what was it, Modern Warfare 2, and you're just mowing people down in the airport.
Yeah, that was a big controversy at the time. No Russian.
Yeah.
So Kirsty, this is also something that comes up on the podcast a lot, and we all have like slightly different answers to this question. It's been coming up a lot lately, but speaking broadly, do you feel like making YouTube videos, particularly making YouTube video essays, is an art form?
Oh, that is a good question. I don't think so. But
That's kind of where we lean to, I think.
Yeah, but if it's not, then what is? I don't know. You're engaging with other people's art.
I think
Sorry.
I think art is kind of dependent on like I think you can decide whether something's art. Like if you like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like if you make a
Like, I
particularly
think if you
good
said
one.
yes, I would. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you said yes, I would be like, yeah, it's that. Then that's art because you think it is. You know?
No, I guess if you have a conversation with your mates about, I don't know, Transformers, Dark Side of the Moon, is that art? That's kind of what a video essay is. You know, you're just talking about something. I don't know. I think it's like an engagement with art, but to say it's not art kind of implies that it has no value. So there needs to be like another word for it, but I can't think of what that word would be.
Informative.
Well,
media
yeah. Well, you think
analysis?
about. I wouldn't call the news art, but like it has value.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
think
think
there
I
are
think the
definitely some
news
video
guys probably think
essayists.
it's art. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think it just depends like how much you put into it, what you know is what you get out of it. Where I think there are some video essays out there where I'm just like, wow, like you really went above and beyond not only to like do the topic but presentation, the way you frame this entire thing. There's I think like Defunct Land is one video essayist that I always see where I'm like, wow, like he made one recently, but it was like a year ago on who wrote the like Disney Channel theme song, and it's like an hour and a half long, and it just fully feels like a feature documentary. Like that one actually got me crying, and I was like, damn, this is beautiful. So I think it's fully up to, if you want to make it go there, you can. It can be art.
Mm-hmm.
I think it all is art, but it can really feel like it if you try.
For me, it's hard for me to like see a YouTube video in general as like art unless there's some kind of like narrative structure to it, and it feels like, I don't know, like for example, we can like look at iDubbbz, right? Like I think all of his like original content, right, was definitely not art, like his like content cop stuff and all that. But I think those documentaries that he did, I think those were like genuine content, you know, like that I would consider
genuine
art in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
The other stuff is content, I feel like.
It's content, but I don't know.
Because I mean, documentary, that's filmmaking. That's art. I think like anytime you're playing with narrative, and then there's those guys like Raka Raka who are, you know, they started on YouTube and are now filmmakers because they cut their teeth making sort of homemade, low budget filmic art on YouTube, you know.
Are they the guys that made the videos about like Ronald McDonald beating up children?
I don't even know.
Them?
I'm not even
Okay.
sure. I've seen them do. Nick, do you watch their stuff?
They did a bunch of like backyard wrestling stuff, and I haven't watched all their content, but they did a bunch of random type stuff.
I remember seeing their videos, and I saw one video where it was like the guys, the Justice League fighting the Avengers, and I was like, these are the guys who made Bring Her Back.
Talk to me.
Yeah, Talk to Me. I was like, it doesn't seem. It seemed like a joke. It seemed like Almost Friday TV, but that was like 10 years ago, you know.
But you think about like the people making great horror movies these days. A lot of them are just former sketch writers, you know. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Jordan Peele and Zach Kreger are killing it.
Yeah. So this again for all of you guys, because I actually I don't know where I stand on this. I kind of go back and forth, but do you think being a content creator, like coming up on YouTube and everything, has that made you consume more YouTube as a viewer or less? Like, have you backed away from it as a viewer?
I've backed away. I don't know about you guys.
I think I probably backed away a little bit, yeah. Because I started it because I liked it. You know, I liked listening and you know, seeing other YouTubers that kind of partially inspired how I, you know, create stuff for my channel. And when I'm making it now, I'm just like, I still watch a handful every now and then, but you know, there's not that desire anymore. Once you know how the sausage is made, you don't want to eat sausage as much.
I tend to watch people that are very different than my stuff. I watch less video essays and I think more off the cuff commentary, because that's very impressive to me. Like those guys like Kyle Kalinske and Vosh, who can just speak for literally hours on end about complex political topics and current events. Like I find that stuff so impressive. And also I just get a lot of my news from those guys. You know, it's filtered through their own personal biases, but at least they're upfront about that. So I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I watch just actual garbage content
Like
on
what?
YouTube. Like, I don't know, like cooking videos and
Oh, those aren't garbage.
That's great.
like
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's sweet.
I don't watch video essays either.
Mm.
I like to find like there's this guy. Okay, if anybody actually listens to this podcast, there's this kid, Sneaks 2006, and he's this little British kid, and he only does like Prime reviews, and he has like
Oh,
no
the drink?
subscribers. Yeah, he does like he finds like energy drinks and like Gatorades, and he's just like, today I'm going to be doing a Lucamade mango waterfall flavor review. And he just sits in his backyard and he just does a little review of it. And it's I commented on every one of his videos for like 100 days straight. And eventually he's like, "Hey, can you just stop commenting on my videos?" And I was just like, "All right."
Oh.
So I stopped commenting, but I still watch all his videos.
Yeah. He's
And
doing
then
it
one
for the
video
love of
he
the
made,
game.
one video he made, he lit a toy car on fire in his backyard, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, did he get in trouble?
I don't know.
We'll never know. Victimless crime.
Toy
Yeah.
car.
That's funny. That always hearing stuff like that. It always reminds me that. Do you guys know Timothy Chalamet as a YouTuber?
Yeah, he did Xbox
Yeah.
controller reviews, right?
Yeah, he like painted Xbox controllers, and like all his videos were from like neck down to his waist, so it was just him holding the controller and just being like, "Hey guys, I Xbox Gamer 1302 here. And this is my red and black controller. It's pretty cool. Got the bumpers."
Oh,
And then to be like, "Thanks guys."
oh, bless him.
Because this when you bring up Timothy Chalamet, it made me think of this because there was that Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest. Did you guys see that?
Oh yeah,
There
that
was
was
a
in New York, right?
Yeah, it was like a couple months ago. But there was also a Kim Kardashian lookalike contest, and Kim Kardashian's brother ended up hooking up with the woman who won the contest, which I just found really
Oh.
fucking weird.
Mm.
That is odd.
It's just a strange thing to seek out in your life. Like, oh, I'm gonna find the woman in the world who looks most like my sister, and that's what I want.
That's wild.
All right, but
Hate that.
do you guys have any other questions? Because I got my rapid fires. If
Oh,
you
okay.
have any
I'll do some.
finals.
I'll do some basic ones. What is your either favorite or like top 3 favorite games of all time?
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, Silent Hill 3.
Oh, okay. That's the
Elder
one about the
Scrolls?
blonde girl, right?
Yeah, with Heather.
Yes, Heather.
The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. That one's a banger. Got remastered
How
this
do you
year.
feel about the remaster?
Amazing, perfect. You know,
Is that,
I think they
is that
preserved most of
before
the bugs.
Skyrim?
It was, yeah, it was 2006.
Yeah, that's 4.
Oh, okay.
And I'd say Spyro 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
my childhood game. Love that.
What
Yeah.
are yours, Gulif?
Well, probably if you asked like 10-year-old me, I would have said Spyro, but I didn't play the original Spyro trilogy. I only had access to like the GameCube era
Enter the
Spyro
Dragon?
games.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had like Enter the Dragon. It was like they did a weird reboot that was very dark tonally. It was called like A New Beginning, and it was now serious.
Oh, that one was wank. Sparks had
yeah.
a 6-pack. That was weird.
Oh yeah, that is weird. I'm
Yeah.
sure there was like some weird furries and born out of that.
Oh yeah.
Favorite game of all time is definitely Bloodborne for me. I mean, I have a Bloodborne tattoo on my arm, so absolutely love Bloodborne. For second game, it's probably a Resident Evil at this point. It might be Resident Evil 2 remake because that's what really got me into it, and like right out of high school. I think that game's just phenomenal, like tonally and all that.
What about Breath of the Wild?
It's all right.
It's all right.
Pretty good.
What do you mean it's all right?
I don't know. No, it's generally great. I just don't know if it's like it's my third slot. Yeah.
Well,
But
can I be
I don't
honest
know.
with you guys?
Maybe. Yeah.
Don't make fun of me for this. I got a Switch, and I was like, all right, well, what does IGN say the best game ever is? 'Cause I just got that game, and that's the only one I ever played.
What was the game?
Breath of the
Was
Wild.
it Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, they
Oh,
put
okay.
that. They put that as number 1. So I was like, all right, I'll try this one. And I love that game.
Oh,
But
good.
I never bought any other ones really. So I'm not
There's
really
a
a gamer.
huge there's a huge plethora of like really good indie games on Switch that you can
Oh, you
get.
know, actually, when I had an Xbox, I played this indie game called Outer Wilds. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, that's a great game.
My brother keeps trying to get me to play it.
Don't
That
spoil
was-
anything. That's so good.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but that was just really, really cool game. That was also
Yeah,
very
that's
cool.
one
That's
of the
my
best
third
games
game.
I've played. Yeah,
Not
okay.
that, but Hollow Knight.
Oh, yeah, I heard
I have
that's
like
amazing.
180 hours in Hollow Knight, and that's like a $15 game.
Have you done the Pantheons?
No, because I don't hate myself. I did Path of Pain for
yeah.
a week straight, and I wanted to cry, so I just gave up.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you
I
didn't
think
say
mine-
Last of. Oh, sorry, Nick, you going?
I was gonna say I think mine are Bully.
Oh, I played that too when I was a
Okay,
kid.
classic.
It's like I've played it like I've 100%ed it like 5 times. Guitar Man for PS2. It's like the best rhythm game I've ever played in my life.
Mhm.
And then KOTOR 2 for sure.
What's
Okay.
guitar? Is that like Guitar Hero?
Knights of the
Guitar
Old
Room?
Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic 2. Star Wars.
What's a rhythm game? Is that like a
Oh,
DDR
A rhythm game
thing?
is it's basically like an early iteration of Guitar Hero, but it was all played on a controller. You don't have like a guitar or anything. It's all just movement of the joystick and pressing buttons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I always had to go over to my rich friend's house to play Guitar Hero. I couldn't afford it.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm surprised no one said Last of Us, especially you, Ethan. I feel like that you always speak so highly of it.
I like Last of Us. It's
Oh, to be
probably in
fair.
the top 10.
Yeah, that's an
It's a
awesome
great
game.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I have 3 rapid fire questions for you, Kirsty. Your favorite video game adaptation?
Oh, yes.
What is like a movie
Or a
Or
show?
show, I guess.
or show? Probably the 2006 Silent Hill movie. It was wank,
Oh, yeah.
but it was like it was just
It's-
like a fan service catalog of Silent Hill. It was good.
You could tell the guy that made that actually cared a little bit. Like he was like, I'm a fan and I want to make the game. I made a whole video where, because I've never played any of the games, but I've seen all the Silent Hill movies,
Mm.
which is a terrible way to go about it. But
It is.
that first movie is like, I think story there. I'm like, I'm getting a worse version of a story that's more interesting, I'm sure, in the actual game. But
Yeah.
the tonally, musically, visually, it was all phenomenal and terrifying with like that, the one scene with Pyramid Head and the stairs and the lady and everyone
Yeah.
knows what I'm talking about if you've seen it.
Oh.
But yeah, that's a
So,
great answer.
favorite member of the Fellowship of the Ring?
Oh. Sam, obviously.
Nice.
That's easy.
Yeah, Sam.
How's that easy? It's Boromir.
It's Sam.
It's Boromir.
Look, if you'd asked me when I was
Talk
10,
about
it would have been
boring,
Legolas, obviously, because I was a 10-year-old
Yeah.
girl. And if you'd asked me if I was, in my teens, it would have been Gandalf, obviously, because he's a cool wizard. And now it's Sam. I'm in
Yeah.
the Sam stage of my life, and maybe in a few years it'll be somebody else.
Sam is mine too, probably. I mean, I also really love Aragorn. I'm honestly, this is one of my biggest faults. My toxic trait is that I just am a sucker for main characters. I'm kind of like, oh, who's your favorite character? Oh, the main character. It's just
John Doom.
the main
Yeah.
characters. Okay, so and the last one, favorite American guy ever.
American guy, just like person from America.
Yeah,
Oh, SpongeBob. Does he count?
yeah.
He's American. That's
Bikini,
a
I mean,
full-blooded American
Bikini
man
Bottom
right
is
there.
probably
Kenny?
that's probably international waters, but
Oh.
who's keeping track?
Do you remember that show Camp Laszlo?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I don't remember
I just wanted
watching a lot of it.
wanted to make y'all think about it. That's it.
I forgot it existed until you just mentioned that, so thank you.
That was great.
It'll live
welcome.
on for the next 5 minutes.
Oh, okay,
in my
one
mind.
last one. I just thought of this: Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon?
Probably Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard not to say Cartoon Network because that's also Adult Swim. So if you put that, but then you could have Nick and
But
Night.
even if
Nick
you're-
and Night's pretty good too.
But even if you're excluding Adult Swim, I think it's Cartoon Network.
It had Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Teen
Yep,
Titans, I
classic.
think, for a bit.
Codename
Yep.
Kids Next Door.
That was good.
Oh man,
Powerpuff Girls.
Adventure Time.
Yes, love that show.
Johnny Bravo.
What's the it's newer, but Smiling Friends is so good.
Cow and
Yeah.
chicken.
I want to watch that.
Smiling
It's really
Friends
good. I love
is very
Smiling
funny.
Friends.
Smiling Friends is good.
So yeah, you guys want to get into Donnie Darko?
Let's get into Dark.
Let's
I
do
didn't
it.
realize it was his damn name. Anyway.
Wait, you're gonna tell me you didn't think Donnie Darko was someone's name? What did you think it was?
I was like, that's a stupid name. No one's gonna have that name.
To be fair, even in the movie, a girl is like, "What
Yeah.
the fuck is
Yeah.
that about?"
I'm Mr. Darko. Like,
Can you
that's
imagine?
your last name? Oh man.
This movie felt like it was accidentally good.
Well,
What-
I mean, from what I've seen from this guy's career, is he did one other thing after this that completely tanked his career, right? Richard
What was it?
Kelly,
He's made a few
Southland
movies.
Tales, I believe, which
Southland
has
Tales
The
was
Rock.
terrible. And then also he did S. Darko, which was also terrible.
Is that a sequel?
Yeah, it's about his
Yeah.
sister, the Sparkle Nation daughter,
Oh,
or Sparkle Motion.
Oh.
That's what they're called. When she
Sparkle
grows
Nation?
up, she learns about I don't know, the tangent universe or the manipulated whatever the fuck. She's like, what happened to my brother? I think it's
Ugh.
one of those situations.
So it's
Yeah,
like a
but do y'all
Doctor
ever watch
Sleep
those-
to The Shining kind of situation.
But do you ever feel like you just watch a movie that like it was like made at the perfect time by like the perfect people, and like that's why it's good, not necessarily that the script was perfect or like the directing was perfect. Like it just feels like it was like a culmination at the perfect time with the perfect cast.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would say that about. I mean, there are a lot of super intentional things about this movie that really work. I mean, a lot of it is time and place. I think the soundtrack is amazing, and it's definitely, you know, it came out in what, 2001, and it's almost all
Mhm.
80s music. So that's an intentional choice. It's set in the 80s. It has that kind of, you know, that Lynchian sort of horror bubbling under the surface of suburban America thing that Lynch in the 80s was really focused on. But then at the same time, it weaves this really unique, you know, you could say that it's sort of convoluted, and it definitely is, but it is a unique sci-fi premise that only Donnie Darko, that you can only really go to Donnie Darko to get. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of intentionality about the movie. It's not just luck that it all worked, I don't think.
I when I had always heard about this movie. This is my first time watching it, by the way. I've never seen it before. This was one of those movies that where the ad came on whenever I play a VHS tape. It was on a few of them. I would cover my eyes because the scary bunny. So I didn't know what this movie was
Aw.
about. I thought it was just about a scary rabbit man, and Jake Gyllenhaal was being pursued by a scary rabbit man. So I was way off. But it a lot of people talk about this movie as like, oh yeah, I saw Donnie Darko and only understood what was going on after seeing it 5 times. And that kind of hyped it up where I was like paying hyper attention. I'm like, all right, this is going to be the most confusing movie I've ever seen. Nothing's going to make sense. And I was like, oh, no, I mean, I get it. I get what happened. I
It
kind
all
of
makes
overhyped
sense.
it in my mind.
I think the like the things they say don't necessarily make sense, but I think the premise makes sense. Like all the explanations of everything that's happening is nonsense.
So I basically get the gist of it, where it's like, for there's some sort of cosmic event that creates the tangent universe. Frank is a dead person who's been given special powers by the universe to try to manipulate Donnie into accepting his fate and dying so the tangent universe can die and the original universe can live. But it's like, I guess I just don't understand the why behind all of that. It's just like, this thing happened. Now Donnie is in this position where he has to sacrifice himself. That's the only thing that's not really clear to me. You know, like why did the tangent universe happen? Why? You know what I mean? I'm kind of lost there. But I guess the why is that there needed to be a movie, but I just don't really understand it, I guess. I don't.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you know.
I'm one of those people who doesn't really understand it, mainly because I can never quite figure out whether or not it's trying to tell a literal story or an allegorical one, or both, or neither.
It feels very literal, but
Yeah.
especially after seeing the director's cut.
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah,
maybe it was
what did
intended
you
to be.
guys?
Yeah.
So I decided to do theatrical cut because Nick said it was better. What's the difference? Is it just extended scenes, or is there missing context thrown in?
Like you basically get these cutaway scenes of them defining terms in Roberta Sparrow's book and like assigning them to different characters throughout the story. So like Frank is something what Richard Kelly calls the manipulated dead, and his role is what I was saying before, to like sort of manipulate Donnie into accepting his fate as this person who needs to sacrifice himself to save the world at the end of it, which is what he ends up doing, you know?
Okay.
But I
think the movie works better when you're not trying to explain it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like it I feel like it kind of is asking you to explain it, you know? And it clearly, the director, he put out the director's cut because he wants people to understand all of these time travel, parallel, tangent universe things. Like that was his intention. Like he really that was a huge focal point for him. Like he wants people to know all these terms and manipulated dead and all this shit. Like I wouldn't know. I don't think I would understand that unless I saw the director's cut. You know what I mean?
But don't you think part of the reason the movie did so well and people loved it so much is because they didn't get it? I think if they'd initially understood everything, they'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool." But like I feel like when they leave and they're like, "I don't even know what the fuck I just watched," and fucking Mad World is such a sick song. Like I think that's why the movie did well.
Well, there's that, but I think all the social commentary going on, the character dynamics, just the basic, the meat and bones of the movie is like the sci-fi element, but all the sort of ancillary stuff going on outside of that, like Jim Cunningham, the fear and love thing, Donnie burning down the house, the flood, and all the music and everything. It's a very evocative movie that I think has something to say about like suburban America too, that you can have that sort of read on it as well and get a lot of it as just sort of a social commentary piece about like 80s America or whatever. So I think that, and it's just a great coming of age story for anyone who's a little bit weird and emo growing up, you know. I think that's kind of why I liked it. I was like, I'm Donnie. You know, I thought I was Donnie Darko.
Yeah, do you think, as like young men, Donnie Darko would have spoken to you, or you relate to him in a certain way?
Oh yeah, for sure. I identified with Donnie really hard because I felt alienated at school. I definitely was sort of like a sad. I was like the same mix of like sad, empathetic, weird, and curious, I think, as Donnie, and I really identified with him for sure growing up.
Yeah, I think I probably, if I saw this, back in 2001 when I was 2 years old, I would have identified really hard. Yeah. No, I don't know. If I'd seen this maybe a little bit, just being outsider, but I don't know. There's too much of the character does. I'm like, he does too much for me to be like, yeah, I'd do that.
Well,
I wouldn't light a guy's house on fire.
It's hard. He's being manipulated by a demon bunny or something. So you can't.
That's true.
It's not his fault.
I think I hear people say all the time that like the school is like such a hard time for them and stuff. And for me, like school was like the like safe haven for me. Like I didn't like going home. You know, it was like, so for me, I never really had issues in school. I got along with people. Everything was. I don't think I would have identified with Donnie.
I think it's very much that a lot of people struggle in school in different ways. Not everyone has that, but for the people that do struggle with going to school, bullying, whatever, not feeling like an outsider, those are some brutal 6 hours of your day.
Yeah. Well, I think, Donnie's he's not a total loner. Like he does have his group of friends. He eventually gets a girlfriend and everything like that. So he's it also helps that he's Jake Gyllenhaal and hot or whatever. So he doesn't have to be a total incel, but I don't know. I feel like Donnie Darko is, looking back on it, I was so obsessed with this movie I feel like watching it now, it is a bit of an I'm 14 and this is deep kind of movie. Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, would you guys agree with that?
I mean, I could see this being like hugely influential on myself if I had seen this at the right time.
Yeah.
And I can see why so many people covet it as like, they're like, this was my first time watching a movie and going like, oh, there's something you can tell a deeper story with, you know, with the art of film. And I think that's, I still think that's great. But I don't know, I still thought this was great.
It definitely felt like Richard Kelly was just like, oh, this is so fucking sick. Like, just this is so fucking sick. And every time he thought of something new, he's like, oh my God, I can't wait to show everybody how sick this shit is.
Yeah.
And like, it felt like a very like he was just kind of filleting himself constantly.
It's definitely overstuffed.
Yeah.
Well, so Kirsty, you were saying, you know, that you kind of get a thematic interpretation of this movie. What was your kind of theme that you were getting out of this?
Oh, I don't know. So, when I was a kid, I picked this up because it was a 15, so I thought it was going to be like Saw. And I was expecting like, you know, the worst kind of depravity, and then ended up with this really kind of, I don't know. It felt like a very personal contemplation on death and accepting. There's a line that the characters say a lot where it's like everyone dies alone, and coming to terms with like what that means for you in your final moments. Donnie talks about his dog that when she was gonna die, she went under the porch because she wanted to be alone, and then she died. And I don't know, it's this. It almost feels like this acknowledgement and like stepping away and just kind of going to die and knowing that it's time and that peace. And I don't know, that always really stuck with me. I thought that that's what the movie was about, but I was doing some reading and apparently it's just a time travel movie. So
no, I think I know you're definitely right.
Yeah,
that is what it's
right.
about. That's definitely what it is about. He has to accept his own death.
Yeah, and I think that's the most effective part of the movie. And that's why I think if they had simplified the story a bit, it could have been even better.
Yeah, but I don't. How do you take that element of him having to die as like a 16-year-old kid without having this weird? It's like, in what other instances would you have to like die to save the world as a 16-year-old?
You don't have to doing research on a time machine and all this kind of like it's just it's not interesting. Like his conversation, like all his conversations with that teacher are not interesting. There's a lot of parts of this movie that are just felt very unnecessary.
Yeah, the conversations he has with his teacher and the book that just happens to describe exactly what he's going through makes the movie feel a lot like it's trying to justify itself. So in a way, it's very cryptic, but it also goes to great lengths to make sure that you know exactly what's happening and there's no wiggle room for understanding when it comes to the wormhole. So yeah, I get it. I think that the book especially, it was just kind of... Grandma Death was cool. The fact that he brings her the envelope that she's clearly been looking for the entire story.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's like, oh, she wrote a book about this. Yeah, I get what you mean. It tries too hard to justify itself and it doesn't need to.
One of the funniest parts of the movie is when Donnie and his friends are watching her go back and forth. He's like, "Nah, somebody ought to write that bitch." That's a funny line.
We opened the episode with it, but I just thought it was like such a tonal whiplash of the scene of them talking, just like shooting the shit about Smurfs.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, we got to make this the intro because this is the most like strangest page of dialogue I've ever seen.
It almost felt improvised. Yeah,
it really did.
I'll also say, what was the Asian girl that everybody's mean to?
Charita?
What's her name again? I forgot. Yeah. Why did I don't understand why he wrote in the script "shut up"? Like, I feel like that isn't even an accent or anything. It just felt like weird.
Just a little quirk.
Shut up.
That she has, I think.
I guess so. It just felt so weird and random.
I felt so bad for her.
Seth Rogen is also in this movie.
Oh yeah, there's a weird level of like recognizable actors in this.
Yeah,
like, not even like getting actual main line like
Spencer from iCarly.
Yeah, Jerry Trainer's
Oh, yeah.
in this.
Ashley
Also, the
Tisdale?
teacher, one of the teachers from iCarly is also in this. Like the older guy with like the slick back hair. He's in this.
Yeah.
The other mullet friend is like genuinely like seems like he's a terrible person. So he did a good job.
Yeah, Seth Rogen's good at playing a bully. You know, that's kind of he kind of plays that in Freaks and Geeks too a little bit. He's kind of a douche in that show.
He's just kind of an asshole.
Yeah, I think he does that well.
He hadn't really grown fully into his like at this point. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was still a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I don't know. I at this point, I kind of do want to watch the director's cut just to compare and contrast. But watching this movie is really like a time capsule for me because I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but I watched the movie constantly when I was a kid, and I wrote an essay that no one assigned to me on what I thought it meant, and showed it to my English teacher who had never even seen the movie, and he was just like. Well, you know, I don't really know what you're talking about at all, but I mean, that's nice that you took the initiative on this, I guess. And I was like,
Would you ever turn that into a video?
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Just if I could find the essay from when I was 12.
The horrible truth of Donnie Darko, and it's just a review. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cinematography was cool.
Yeah.
The music
This
was
is definitely
cool.
I hung out with like a lot of stoners in high school and shit, and this is definitely one of those movies they like put on over and over, so I've seen it a million times.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of those types of movies that like they just throw on because they're like people just want to get high and watch something like weird.
Oh
You
man, I
get
feel like
high
this
to
would be a
that.
trip. This is a pretty. I mean, I feel like doing like hallucinogenics and watching Donnie Darko would be a really bad idea.
Hmm.
But like weed, maybe it'd be fine.
What do you
I
guys
don't
think
know.
is the best Jake Gyllenhaal movie? I feel
He's
like
been in so many.
I would go with Nightcrawler, honestly.
I'd
At
go
least
with
the best
Prisoners.
performance. Oh yeah,
Prisoners
Yeah, I
This
think
is really
Prisoners
great.
might be.
I haven't seen Brokeback Mountain, but I'm gonna say underrated pick. Enemy by Denis Villeneuve,
That's a really good one too. Yeah.
but also Zodiac.
watched-
mentioned.
Oh,
is-
Zodiac. It's Zodiac. That's it. It's Zodiac for sure.
It's hard, dude. I don't know.
What about Spider-Man: Far From Home?
He's kind of fallen off. He's kind of doing terrible movies lately.
He wants to play cops a lot in the 2020s. Like, did you see that
Honestly,
movie,
End of Watch
The Guilty?
is pretty. No.
No.
It's kind of a cool concept. Like, he plays a cop who gets demoted for like being an asshole.
Oh yeah, I did watch that one.
Yeah.
Where he's like working the booth or whatever, taking phone
Yeah,
calls.
for 911, and he's just on
Yeah.
with this one woman and trying to help her out. But that was a pretty cool movie. But I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal's in this point in his career where he's like, I'm done with the sensitive guys. I want to be a morally challenging,
guy.
Morally challenging cop who's got a dark side.
I feel like when you start playing cops, you're just kind of like that's like when you're coasting. You're not really like trying to find a really interesting role. You're like, yeah, I'll play a cop. Sure, why not? Get my paycheck.
Maybe he just went
year.
on. Maybe he just went on like one too many ride-alongs. And he's just stuck.
Yeah,
I don't even think that's true though. I think playing a cop can be difficult because I think one of Stallone's best roles is in Copland. He plays like the local sheriff. He's so goddamn good in that movie.
and then there's Serpico. That's another Al Pacino. It's a great cop performance. Matthew McConaughey is a great cop and True Detective. So is Woody Harrelson. So it depends on the writing, I guess. But I see what Ethan means, where it's sort of like it's a gimme type of role. You know what I mean? Being a cop in a movie at that level.
It seems easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're that kind of guy. Like if you're Matthew McConaughey and they already use your voice for the Lincoln Continental commercials, then you're basically just
they do.
you're cut out for this, to just be a grizzled cop in a cop procedural.
God damn it.
Well, actually,
I don't
I
know.
will say he's doing the coasting as a cop, but also he's not playing your generic cop in Prisoners. He's playing someone actually very interesting.
Yeah.
That's one where he actually did a great job.
I love how twitchy he is in that movie, where he's
I
constantly
noticed
twitching.
the blinking. He squints when he blinks.
Mm.
I've seen, I watch a lot of reality TV trash, And I've occasionally will see someone that like genuinely does blink like that, where they squint really hard. And I think it's just a thing, some people do, which
Just a tick.
it's just like a tick. Yeah. I just think
I have
that's
a tick.
interesting.
Yeah, I think he's constantly sleep deprived in that movie. There's
That's
another movie he's in where he was wearing a earpiece, and just kind of like off camera, so that his character would always seem distracted. It would be playing music, but I can't remember which one that was. It looked like Prisoners, but like you say, he's been in so many cop roles lately that I don't know which one it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, I think his character in Zodiac, like that's my favorite type of Gyllenhaal, is sort of the Donnie Darko Zodiac mold, where he's like a sensitive, obsessive type of guy. Like I prefer him that way. But it seems like he sort of wants to signal this like tough, grizzled guy thing now in his later career, which is whatever. Like he did that Southpaw thing too. I don't know. I just don't really I don't see
Roadhouse.
him that way. Yeah, Roadhouse. He wants to be a tough guy.
They're about to. I think they're bringing back Brokeback Mountain for like its 25th anniversary on
Making a sequel
in theaters.
No, they can't do that. I would love to watch Brokeback Mountain. I have not seen that.
It's really good.
I think I saw it when I was a kid. I haven't seen it as an adult though.
We should talk about it at some point.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. Yeah, I interesting story about that like character from Zodiac, because the main character is Robert Graysmith. My my screenwriting teacher collects books, and he was he found on like in some like little thrift store, he found a first edition copy of the book that the movie's based on from Robert Graysmith. He's like, oh my gosh, first edition, I'm gonna get this. And he was like clearing out his closet like 8 years later, and he's like, I'm just gonna sell it just to clear some space. So he put it up on like eBay, and then he gets a message back from Robert G, and he's just like, no way. And then he actually starts talking to this guy, and it was actually Robert Graysmith. It's like, yeah, when they printed the copies, I never got one, so I found yours, and I'll take it. He's like, I sold it to him for $25.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
No, yeah. For some reason, I'm already kind of prone to liking true crime as it is, but the Zodiac, maybe it's because I like the Zodiac movie so much. I don't really know, but anytime there's anything who was the Zodiac killer related on YouTube or Netflix just did a new thing, I'll always eat that shit up. I can't get enough of it. And I think because I love that movie, I always, my brain immediately goes to anytime they present like a different possibility for who it could be other than Arthur Lee Allen. I'm like, well, that's not true. David Fincher said it was Arthur Lee Allen, so it must be.
I trust David Fincher. I know he knows what he's talking about.
But like the Zodiac true crime people on Reddit and stuff, they're all like, yeah, Fincher is so wrong about that. Like, there's no way Arthur Lee Allen was actually the Zodiac killer. They don't think that.
Did you guys ever have a like a true crime? Well, I know Nick, you just said you check it out a lot. Do either of you guys, like Kirsty and Nick, do you guys have like true crime rabbit holes that you've gone down where you just like want to learn about a thing, a particular thing? Because like I don't really care too much about true crime. Like I never get like fully invested, but I'll occasionally have like a day where I'm like, I want to hear some true crime, and I'll throw it on, and that'll be like once every 2 years.
Yeah,
I hate it. It's so depressing to me.
I remember in my teens, I went down the Jeffrey Dahmer rabbit hole. But to me, in my teens, that was just reading all the Wikipedia pages. I had a really morbid curiosity, so I wanted to know about the super grisly details. So yeah, I think if there's ever a case like that, I like to know the ins and outs, so to speak, but never, I don't know anything specific. And I don't know too much about the Zodiac Killer. Who was that?
What?
Yeah, the Zodiac
Oh.
Killer is it's like one of the most famous unsolved serial killer cases in American history. He was in the 1960s. There was this guy who killed, I think officially there's under 10. It's not like a lot of bodies comparatively to other serial killers, but what really got the media in a frenzy was that he sent in like a cipher. He was sending these like really disturbing letters to them, and they were all coded as, you know, in his own secret little cipher, symbolic language,
he called
or whatever.
himself the Zodiac.
Yeah.
Damn. Did they ever figure the cipher out?
No, some of them were figured out. Some of them were still like debated whether or not they've actually solved them.
Yeah.
Oh. Cool.
But this
Yeah,
like
they're
that
still
Robert
out there.
Graysmith guy that Ethan's talking about, he solved one of them, and he's like the main character of David Fincher's Zodiac
yeah, he's Jake
movie.
Gyllenhaal's character.
Mm.
I'd recommend you watch Zodiac. I'm shocked you hadn't heard of it, but also, you're not from America, and it's a very big American like serial killer.
Well-
You know Jack the Ripper, right?
Yeah, we
You're
know
British.
Jack the Ripper. I remember hearing a meme about Ted Cruz being the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Ted Cruz was the Zodiac killer, and that was all I really took from that.
Just believed it.
Yeah, I was like, well,
It's
weirder
like,
things have happened.
Can't believe
Sure.
he's in America. They let someone who did all that run for office.
Yeah,
Ted Cruz is
I
literally
don't know if he
Nick's.
was even born
He's
yet.
Nick's senator.
It's
exciting.
true.
Exciting.
He's so dumb. I watched that. What was the interview? The interview I watched
With Tucker
With
Carlson.
Tucker-
him
yeah, with
and
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
I was just like, Jesus,
That was
man, he's
good.
so stupid.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson's on a redemption arc, I guess, to try to get people on the left to like him, or to at least think he's not like a total scumbag. It seems like all I've been since the Ted Cruz interview went viral. He was on with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, besides this one clip, has just been saying how Zohran Mamdani is just like he's going to turn New York City into like this Muslim like hellhole or whatever, saying all this horrible Islamophobic stuff. But just him and her on that podcast are just saying like, oh no, he's the only one who answered the question about Israel properly, all this stuff. Like I don't know. I don't appreciate this whole Tucker Carlson redemption arc. Like, we didn't forget all the shit that you've said over the past 20 years, man. You can't just fool us into thinking you're cool now. You're not.
He can fool me probably.
I'll take anything at this point.
Nick, before we just started the pod, you had some British questions for Kirsty.
Oh, I forgot what I said. I was just kidding. Well,
I hate tea.
It was something
that
about-
was going to be the question.
it was something about beans. Oh, actually, I remember one of them. Have you ever cooked your toast for too long and then it kind of got black and you scraped off the black part with like a butter knife?
Oh, I like my toast black. So, yeah.
That's a British thing, I guess. That's crazy.
Well, I'm one of those like stereotypical millennials who likes avocado on toast. So, I feel like it sits
I
better
love
on burnt
avocado on
I
toast.
do
too.
love avocado toast. Oh
Mm.
man, what kind of toast do you go for?
Whole wheat.
I
If
do
it's-
some sourdough.
That was actually one of the questions. I was totally kidding.
I know.
Are you trying to get me to talk about beans on toast or
Yeah, that was
cheesy
the question.
beanies?
Yeah,
Where
that
I was
was-
leading.
That was. Oh yeah, I wanted to. Why do y'all like beans so much? And what's the best way to cook Heinz baked beans?
You boil them in a pan until they bubble. But don't you have beans? Mexican beans?
I'm a big bean
We got
guy.
beans.
Yeah.
I love
We have all
black
kinds of beans. We have Bush's baked
Yeah.
beans.
To be
I
fair,
actually
Mexican
we-
beans are
on
amazing.
toast.
British
Yeah,
beans
I
are
love
kind
You
of
eat
Mexican
beans
beans.
on toast?
uncanny. Yeah, I've had beans on toast. Cheesy beanie.
No, Nick said he does.
Oh.
Yeah, I do.
And then beans on potatoes. That's not cool.
Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
How do you
they
even
do,
get
what's
them
it
to
called?
stay on
Pocket
top?
spuds or something.
Oh, yeah, jacket potato. Pocket spud.
Jacket potato.
Yeah. So you said you don't like tea. You're not a tea drinker.
Hate tea. I feel like it tastes like
I-
bad
I love
breath.
tea. But every tea tastes. There's so many different types of teas, though.
Yeah, but they've all got the tea taste because they're tea.
No, that's black
It's
tea.
water.
Have you had like herbal teas?
I had tried green tea and it
Matcha?
tasted like tea, so I put it down.
Matcha
Yeah.
tastes like grass.
I-
Maybe give it a try.
Okay.
That was one of those things that we had Jack from Rhythm and Sardonic Guest Highlights on. He's British, and I think it was after we had him on. My wife was just like, "Do like British people actually, have afternoon tea where in the middle of the day they just go, I'm gonna go have a tea,' and then they go have a tea." So I messaged him, and he's like, I drink one in the middle of the day, but he has like 8 to 10 cups of tea every day.
Oh, gross.
I don't know how we can judge that though, because like I'll make like 15 coffees a day.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that is a way too
Your
many
afternoon
cups of
Baja
coffee.
Blast. I don't
It
know.
is it's kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous that Americans make fun of British people over that. It's like, why don't you drink the thing that's all slowly giving us heart disease that we drink constantly?
Yeah, coffee is so bad for us.
I
I'd
have
stick to, like,
coffee.
one
Love
cup a
coffee.
day. Yeah.
Coffee's not bad. For
I
It's
you.
love
delicious.
I like coffee.
It
In
100%
massive doses,
is
sure.
bad for you to drink every day. It's not good
Is
for you
it?
to drink coffee every
I
day.
don't believe you. I'm not listening.
Yeah, I don't believe
It
it.
is. It's
either.
bad. It's bad for your heart. It gives you high blood pressure. It's caffeine. It's a drug.
Only if you're getting
Hey,
if
we all
you're
gotta
over
die
like 300.
someday.
If you're over like 300 milligrams of caffeine a day, yeah.
And
That's
also, you
bad,
can
but-
develop a dependency on it if you drink it every day.
Good.
And you
I'm
don't
not
have it, then
dependent
you're.
on it, but if I don't have it every day, I will kill someone. So
Well, you start to get like withdrawal symptoms from it if you don't.
Yeah, I get headaches when I don't have coffee.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm addicted to nicotine and I'm addicted to caffeine, I guess, says Nick. So that's fine.
Well, I mean, I guess you only know if you're addicted to it if you don't have it and then you get a bad headache. That's how you know. Does that happen?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, I get headaches when I don't drink my coffee.
Yeah, that's like the main symptom. But then I guess it's also
I
just
used to
like
do
irritability too. You know.
I used to do tolerance breaks on caffeine, and then I realized that that's stupid.
Lame.
Just listen to that though. You do tolerance breaks on coffee, and you're like, no, this is actually just
Because-
fine. There's no problem here.
No, because I drank so much, like I didn't feel it. Like I would literally, I'm the type of person I could drink like a big old glass of coffee or a big old cup of coffee. Glass? What the fuck am I talking about? Big old cup of coffee and go right to bed. I can go to sleep after drinking it.
No, I definitely can't. I
Yeah, I
had,
can do
I had
that
coffee
too.
to stay up tonight, and I probably won't go to bed at all.
Oh,
Dang.
Yeah.
It's like 4 in
I
the
will
morning for
sleep.
you, right?
Yeah, it's like 3:30, but I'm up. I'm doing some stuff after this. I got a long day ahead of me. I'll be good.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
never in my life done
Yeah.
an all-nighter.
Really, you've
I've
never
never
done
done
an
an
all-nighter?
I've tried so hard. I really, really, really have tried. But around 5, 6 a.m., I start to feel sick, and then I'm just asleep.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
You
that's
just gotta get up and start moving at a certain
You're
point.
built different.
Like I used to. Well, I used to do them to watch every year. I would do one for the release of the new Batsu episode.
Oh,
And but I would have to like leave the house for like an hour, go get donuts, then come back, and then you kind of feel that mental reset.
okay.
Go get
okay.
donuts.
What a great recharger for the day.
Daily routine. Go get donuts. You just go eat donuts.
I only ate donuts. I only did this once a year.
Oh.
It was every year whenever the new Batsu released, I would stay up all
Not
night.
doing well
Batsu.
for the American stereotype. 24/7 donuts, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Homer Simpson.
They got
vibes.
those-
I don't think I've had a donut in like 5 years, but back in the day, dude,
We'll have a good
I'd
donut.
munch a donut.
Do they got donuts over there over the pond?
Yeah, we do. Bean donuts.
Do you guys mess
cheese
them
and
up, or-
beans.
Okay, you know what? I'll say that. Have y'all had like red bean?
Well, like
What
kidney
does red
beans?
mean?
No, like red bean, like it's like a Japanese thing.
It's like a
Have you-
dessert.
Y'all like boba,
right?
like boba tea?
I
Yeah.
like boba.
I've had
I
boba.
don't like boba tea. It tastes like tea.
Give. But next time y'all get boba, give a red bean a try. It's such a good flavor. It tastes like refried beans, but sweet.
Baked
And
beans
it sounds disgusting,
in boba.
but it's so good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I eat beans basically every day, twice a day, and
It's because you're vegan, though.
yeah, beans are like
You
my
have to.
main source of protein usually. Beans and
They're
broccoli.
pretty good protein.
Man, your shits must be crazy.
It doesn't really affect me like that. I like people always say that beans give you like horrible farts, but it's never really been the case for me.
I feel like the worst thing for me is like leafy vegetables will make me be farting.
Yeah. Well-
There was like a post a while ago where it was like some super like Republican politician posted. It was like, going out for my 40th birthday, I'm treated real well, and she had like a platter of beans in
I
front of
saw
her. and
that. Yeah.
One of the tweets was just like, "That's a lot of beans, you nasty ass bitch." Yeah, that kind of went viral. Curious question from an American: like, how much of our like chain restaurants and fast food do you have over there?
We have like 3 Wendy's. Like 3 individual Wendy's.
That's a pretty good one. Wendy's is all right.
Yeah, but here is
That's one of the
wank.
better tier.
Uh,
Oh, it's not good there.
Well, I guess you've got a lot of space to grow animals over there, so I guess your food is probably cheaper. But over here, I don't know. But over here, I feel like when you
That's
get a
pretty bad.
Wendy's, it pales in comparison to the Wendy's I've had when I visited America. But that could also be rose-tinted glasses. I've always really liked
When
American
y'all-
food, I think.
when y'all are like doing American accents to just like do them for fun, what are y'all's go-to terms?
They always say water, right?
What, bottle of water? That one.
Well, in an American, you guys
Water.
when I hear a British person
Water.
doing an American accent, they always focus on the R's.
Yeah.
We pronounce our R's. Water.
Water.
I do a British accent I probably do a British accent like 5 times a day. So like I'm just curious what y'all
The
say.
one you did earlier was great, and whether or not I try to speak with an American accent depends on how recently I've played Red Dead Redemption 2. If I get on that game, I will just be Arthur Morgan.
He's a rat.
He's a rat.
I've worked with a bunch of British people, and they always, every time, they do like a southern accent when they're like,
That's because we love Red Dead
Whatever.
Redemption
Yeah,
2.
you're in Texas.
Texas. And
Yeah.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
or like a New York one or something. They go for those too.
Yeah, I always feel like West Coast. That's where I'm at on the US, but it's always either Valley Girl or like Surfer Dude. They're like, "Whoa, it's dude, what's going on?
Yeah.
You're American, right?"
Yeah.
It's that.
Oh, I'm cringing on behalf of us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, is it true that like when you've been to the States, do you play up the accent a little bit?
No, I found that people don't care. My grandma was like, "Oh, when you go, they'll say like, are you from across the pond?" And I was like, "Oh wow, I'm gonna be like a delicacy over there." And then I went over there and nobody cared. One girl did try to teach me how to speak English because I said Panda Express. She was like, "No, we say it in English. It's Panda Express." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But
No,
that was
you
it.
had it right. I think.
You had it right.
I don't know why you wouldn't pronounce why wouldn't you pronounce the X?
Oh, yeah, there we go.
One of the companies I worked at, they opened an office in Ireland, so we had like a whole like slew of like 40 Irish people come to our office so we could train them, and they talk like shit. Their accent is fucked. I hate it.
Legally, I'm not
I
allowed
love
to
an
judge
Irish
the Irish.
accent.
Sorry, we done too much to them. We can't.
Yeah, Irish accents are one where if that's you get a thick Irish accent, like whenever I hear like see an interview with like Barry Cogan, I'm always like, I need subtitles on permanently. I don't know what you're saying, man.
What about Scottish?
Scottish, same thing.
Scottish
It's
isn't
just
as
it
bad.
seems like a more
It's not
grovelly
as bad.
Irish accent to me.
Well, we did a train spotting episode, and I think we all put the subtitles on to even understand.
I watch everything with subtitles though.
Yeah,
That's
same.
true. That's true. But I don't think I would be able to watch those movies without them. You know,
Same.
like you
Yeah.
can
We
watch,
didn't
you can
rate-
get most of it, but it's better to watch them with it on as an American.
We didn't rate Donnie Darko.
Oh yeah, what are our ratings now that we're coming to the end?
I'll give it a.
If you give a rating,
I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
it's pretty low, sir.
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
I didn't realize I had so much power over you. That's a pretty high number there, Nick.
I'm at a 6.
6 out of 10 again.
Wow.
I'll give it a 7.
Yeah. I feel like a 5 is perfectly average, and anything below 5 you wouldn't recommend, and anything above 5 you would recommend. I would probably put it a bit higher, maybe like 7 or 8. I think it was made like pretty perfectly made, pretty well done, interesting, bit boring at points. So yeah, I'd probably say like 7 or 8.
I can definitely understand somebody really liking it. Like if somebody told me it was like one of their favorite movies, I would get it.
Why do you think he never became like a Sigma icon? I feel like alongside,
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I
I
think
he's
because-
not. He should be up there with like Patrick Bateman and all that.
Is it because he
This is-
technically dies a virgin, do you think?
I think it's because he goes to therapy, which automatically
yeah,
makes him a
he's
kind
too
of a
Yeah,
he's
that's
too
true.
sensitive. Like Sigma's I like they're supposedly they're supposed to be alphas that don't care about having people follow them. They're like lone
They're
wolf
alphas that are lone
badasses.
wolves.
Yeah, they're like I could have a bunch of followers and a cult around me or whatever, but I choose to go my own path. I forge my own way. And Donnie Darko, he reads as like I think he reads more as a beta male than traditionally, so that's probably why I would assume.
Okay.
This is astrology for Men 101.
You just said you related to a beta male as a youngster.
Wow,
so.
Nick.
Which
embarrassing for you.
That kind of makes me a Sigma off the bat, though, because I'm willing to accept my beta-ness, I think. That's only a Sigma would do that.
So a Sigma is a beta with perspective?
Yes. I think so.
No, it's more like an alpha with the perspective, I think. Because basically, to be a Sigma, you have to look and act like an alpha, but you are just alone all the time.
You don't need the validation of having followers.
Yeah.
So what is a ligma?
All right, I think we've...
Wait, so are you born an alpha, sigma, or beta, or does that can you change? Is there social mobility?
It's the great question of our day.
You want to know what's fucked? The newest generation of kids is Generation Beta. any kids born this year and later are Generation Beta.
Literally, the one before them is Alpha, so they're gonna have already like a step above them.
No, but seriously, I think the guys who really believe in this stuff, I think they do believe it's just like you're born that way. I'm pretty sure. Like I don't know if there is no mobility. Like you can't be a beta and become an alpha. It's just like in your bones that you're a beta. I think.
I feel like that's kind of true though.
So you're one of them.
It is funny that the whole alpha male thing is based on a pretty faulty study on wolves in captivity.
That's the other thing.
That's not actually accurate. Which
I know nothing about
is a real alpha move to make up science facts.
That is why it's dumb though, because it's like somebody who's a beta and if they take like a passenger seat in one part of their life where, you know, say they're not good at math or whatever, and one of their friends is like a math whiz and they're doing math problems, the math person would be the alpha in that situation. But then if they go out and do something else that the other guy's good at, like snowboarding, then he would be the alpha in that situation. It's never like you take leadership roles in different circumstances in your life, you know? That's why the whole thing is kind of silly, I think.
If it's that cut and dry, then they can't sell you a course. So you're not
Yeah, that's true. You need to be able to sell an online course. You got to click now to get the deal. There's only 1,000 slots.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've reached our end here. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, Nick? Yes, Nick? No, go ahead and interrupt my outro. Go for it.
No, go for it.
Okay.
Well, I still need to do a recommendation.
Yeah, no, we'll get that. I'll make sure to. I'll signal. Thank you, Kirsty, for being here. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for
inviting me. It's fun to have
me.
you on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for responding to our email and not thinking it was a scam.
It took me ages.
So that's nice.
Sorry.
Oh wait, one more thing. How do you feel about Chris Stuckman? And getting Stuckmanized in general. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What do you think about Chris Stuckman?
I don't know who that person is.
What?
What?
You don't know?
He's a
Is this a D's Nuts joke?
No, he's
it's not.
He's a real person. He's a movie reviewer on YouTube. That we've made it our business to check in on him. That's
Friend of the show.
Yeah,
he's become
an unknowing friend.
Yeah. His catchphrase is "Get Stuckmanized." You were the first guest to not know who that is. So thank you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
He's actually coming on the podcast soon. His new movie's coming out real soon.
Is he an alpha or a sigma?
He's
a beta.
He's a beta. He's a Donnie Darko type man.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with this game.
No, it's okay. That's funny. It's funnier that you don't know. Thank you everybody for watching. Nick, what is your recommendation for next episode?
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it is you, right?
Huh? Yeah, it's me.
Oh, it's Nick.
All right.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to me.
We're gonna be watching the 1991 masterpiece Stone Cold, starring Brian Bosworth. And Nick, I swear to God, if you don't like this movie, I'm gonna hate you forever.
Okay.
I don't know why, but this is on my watch list. So, all right.
Well, this is coming after Nick hated two great movies that I recommended. Didn't even give them a chance. It was just like, oh, it was boring.
I didn't hate Michael Clayton. I thought it was mid as fuck.
Yeah, so that's even worse. At least if you hated it, you would have felt something about it.
Okay, fine.
All right.
I'll try to hate the next thing you
All
recommend.
right, thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you're listening to this or watching it on YouTube, please leave us a like and a comment. If you're listening to us on our audio-only platforms such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please leave a 5-star rating because that really helps us out a lot. Thank you again, Kirsty, for coming on. We really appreciate it. Do you want to go ahead and plug yourself to all the listeners and viewers?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Kirsty. I'm MertKayKay on YouTube. It's alright, you don't have to go and see. It's okay.
No, we'd recommend your channel very much.
Yeah, go check her out.
It's fine.
Yeah, you make great work.
Oh, thank you.
All right. And then make sure you watch Stone Cold from 1991 before next episode to make sure you are not spoiled. And get Stuckmanized, everybody.
Get stuck when eyes.
Get stuck.
That's what he says. That's what he says, Kirsty.
Get stuckmanized.